प्यारे साथियों, आदाब। जो आज हम न्यूज़ आइटम्स उठा रहे हैं, कश्मीर स्पीक्स सिंस 1989। आज के इस वीडियो में हम न्यूज़ आइटम्स उठा रहे हैं जो उस वक्त पब्लिश हुए थे, नवंबर के महीने पहली तारीख। मैं आपको ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि नवंबर के महीने के 3 वीडियोस हम बना लेंगे, जिस तरह हमने अक्टूबर के न्यूज़ आइटम्स में 3 वीडियो वहाँ पर भी तैयार हुए हैं जो आपने देखे होंगे। हम आज जो न्यूज़ आइटम उठा रहे हैं ये हैं 1 नवंबर 1989। जो न्यूज़ आइटम्स हैं, पहला न्यूज़ आइटम ये हैं 1 killed 80 hurt in J&K firing. Details are: 1 person was killed and more than 80 injured in police firing in Srinagar and Anantnag towns as violence broke out today in protest against yesterday's violent incidents in which a woman fell to police bullets. The police opened fire in Nawabazar this morning to disperse the mob. The mobs were protesting against yesterday's violent incident in Sazgari Pora when a militant Hamid Sheikh was fired at by a police constable. The militant was injured and was taken to hospital in a serious condition. दूसरा न्यूज़ आइटम इसी रोज़ 1 नवंबर पब्लिश हुआ था। यह है श्रीनगर वुमेन किल्ड इन पुलिस फायरिंग, proclaimed militant shot critically hurt, heavy security at SMHS hospital. Details हैं: while a middle-aged woman was killed after she sustained bullet injuries in her abdomen when police opened fire near Badshah Chowk, a top militant leader was critically injured in an encounter with the police near Sazgari Pora locality in interior city. The militant leader has been identified as Abdul Hamid Sheikh, one of the 5 front-ranking area commanders of Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front. The deceased woman has been identified as Mrs. Sheila Tiku of Kanikadal locality. दूसरा न्यूज़ आइटम published on the 2nd November 1989. यह है 1 killed, several injured, police firing explosions in Srinagar, Anantnag, violence escalates, militants gun down informer, Kashmir towns observe band. Details हैं: 1 person was killed and several others injured as police opened fire in some parts of the trouble-torn capital city here, which observed complete ban today in protest against the injury caused to the top militant leader Abdul Hamid Sheikh yesterday. 18-year-old Abdul Rahman Doibi of Ali Kadal, Srinagar, was killed on the spot in Nawab Bazar when police resorted to firing. इसी के साथ है in Patan, wherein an alleged police informer was shot dead by suspected militants last evening. Complete band was observed today. दूसरा न्यूज़ आइटम जो पब्लिश हुआ था 2 नवंबर 1989, यह है हमीद critical in hospital. The condition of the militant leader Abdul Hamid Sheikh, who was critically injured in an encounter with the police yesterday, was stated to be serious and doctors attending on him were reported to be keeping their fingers crossed about his survival. दूसरा न्यूज़ आइटम published on 3 November 1989, यह है indefinite curfew in Anantnag. Army called out. Youth killed in police firing. Srinagar toll mounts to 4. militants opened fire, hurled petrol bombs. In Srinagar, 18-year-old Shabir Ahmed Malik of Kavdara, Srinagar locality, died on the spot when he received a bullet in his head, as police fired near Rajouri Kadal to disperse a stone-pelting crowd. दूसरा न्यूज़ आइटम on the same date, that is 3rd November 1989. Unprecedented security. Injured Hamid shifted to Institute of Medical Science Soura. A top militant leader and one of the 5 area commanders of Kashmir Liberation Front, Abdul Hamid Sheikh, was shifted to Soura Medical Institute this afternoon as his condition worsened in SMHS hospital, where he had been struggling against death for the last 3 days. दूसरा न्यूज़ आइटम जो पब्लिश हुआ है इसी दिन, दैट इज़ 3rd November 1989. Hamid's victim, shooter awarded. Assistant Sub-Inspector ASI of Police Muhammad Abdullah, who was responsible for causing serious injuries to top militant leader Abdul Hamid Sheikh, leading to his arrest, has been awarded with 2 out-of-turn promotions, while his colleague, Constable Ghulam Muhammad, has been promoted as Assistant Sub-Inspector. दूसरा न्यूज़ आइटम published on the same date, 3rd November 1989. Band follows blast in Kishtwar. Complete and peaceful Band was observed today in Kishtwar township of the Hilly Doda district in protest against the planting of a powerful bomb in a place of worship, which exploded last night, causing extensive damage to the premises. दूसरा न्यूज़ आइटम published on 4th November 1989. ये हैं police firing toll rises to 6. Women among 2 more killed in Srinagar. Shoot at sight orders in Anantnag. Details are, with the death of 2 more persons, including a middle-aged woman, both from Batamalu locality, the number of those killed in police firing during last 3 days has gone up to 6. Farooq Ahmed, in his early 20s, succumbed to his injuries late last night after he was hit by a police bullet near Batamalu yesterday. Early this morning, as 55-year-old woman identified as Taja Begum was allegedly shot dead by police on point-blank range while she was returning from a mosque after offering morning prayers. दूसरा न्यूज़ आइटम पब्लिश हुआ था 4th November 1989. Retired judge shot dead in Srinagar. Details are, Mr. Neelkant Ganju, former sessions judge who has passed the death sentence on the Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front leader Muhammad Maqbul Butt, was shot dead in Srinagar today. Meanwhile, militants hurled a bomb this evening at a CRPF patrol party at Karanagar here, killing a nearby auto rickshaw driver and injured 4 CRPF jawans, police said. News item published on the 5th November 1989. ये हैं, Inqilabi seeks help from Pakistan occupied Kashmir militants. Underground militant leader Azam Inqilabi has called upon Kashmir Liberation Front Chief Amanullah Khan and the leaders of Kashmir Liberation Alliance, an 11-party united front of political groups in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, to take serious note of the situation prevailing in Kashmir Valley and take necessary steps for providing assistance to Kashmiri militants. दूसरा न्यूज़ आइटम published on 5th November 1989. ये हैं, broad daylight action in Hari Singh High Street, former judge gunned down by the militants. Kashmir Liberation Front owns responsibility. In a nerve-wracking action, unidentified militants gunned down former Sessions Judge Neil Kandgoju in broad daylight in Hari Singh High Street, one of the most busy business centers of the city. दूसरा आइटम न्यूज़ आइटम published on the same date, that is 5th November 1989. One killed in Srinagar police firing. One person was killed and several others injured when jawans of CRPF opened firing in Kakasarai locality near Karanagar late this evening. After a powerful device was heard on a police party mostly comprising CRPF jawans, the deceased was identified as Ghulam Nabi of Nalbanpora, an auto rickshaw driver. न्यूज़ आइटम और एक पब्लिश्ड ऑन द सेम डेट 5th November 1989. ये हैं वन मोर पर्सन fell victim to continuing violence in the Kashmir Valley as militants hurled a grenade on a CRPF picket posted at Kaksarai, Karanagar locality, killing an auto rickshaw driver, Mr. Gulani B. Mir, and injured 5 personnel last night, reports PTI. 5 Jawans were hurt. The condition of a Jawan was critical, it said. In South Kashmir, Anantnag Township, the day curfew was lifted today following an improvement in the situation. दूसरा न्यूज़ आइटम जो पब्लिश हुआ था ये है 6 नवंबर 1989. न्यूज़ आइटम है कर्फ्यू रिलैक्सड इन अनंतनाग, फायरिंग टीयर गैसिंग इन श्रीनगर. डिटेल्स हैं barring some incidents of stone pelting in Navakadal area, the overall situation in Srinagar and other parts of the valley was completely normal today. In Navakadal locality, groups of youth came out shouting anti-government slogans and pelted stones on police personnel and passing vehicles. दूसरा न्यूज़ आइटम published on the same date, that is 6 November 1989. 5 beloved families migrate to Jammu. At least 5 families comprising about 2 dozen members have migrated to Jammu city from rural areas of Bilawar on account of insecurity. दूसरा न्यूज़ आइटम published on 7th November 1989. Headline: Night curfew to continue in Anantnag. Details हैं day curfew was lifted today as normalcy returned to this town, which witnessed large-scale incidents of violence last week. However, as a precautionary measure, night curfew would continue in the town for few more days. दूसरा न्यूज़ आइटम published on the same day, that is 7th November 1989. यह है blast burns bus in Srinagar. A private passenger bus was blown into pieces this evening after a powerful device planted inside it exploded with a defeating sound. The video coach, bearing number DVP 2125, was parked inside a lane on the fashionable boulevard along the Dal Lake. दूसरा न्यूज़ आइटम सेम डे published 7th November 1989. Militants escape big arms haul in Kupwara. A large quantity of arms and ammunition were reported to have been seized by Kupwara police in the border area of Karan late last night, while the same was being smuggled in here from across the border. दूसरा न्यूज़ आइटम published on 8th November 1989. Headline: Bombs hurled in Srinagar. 21 Jammu Kashmir armed policemen injured. Tourist coach damaged. Details हैं 21 police personnel sustained injuries, 2 of them seriously, when a powerful device was hurled on a truck carrying jawans of Jammu and Kashmir Armed Police near Maisuma locality late this evening, while the tourist coach was extensively damaged in another explosion minutes before the Maisuma incident. A news item published on 8th November 1989. Headline: Militants freeze poll activity in Kashmir. Poll activity for the November 22nd Lok Sabha elections continues to be frozen in Kashmir Valley because of the threat of militants who have called for boycotting the elections. News item published on the 9th November 1989. यह है 4 jawans among 12 killed in Cairn sector. More than a dozen persons, including 4 army personnel, were killed in a clash between the armed forces of India and Pakistan in Cairn sector of Kashmir Valley. दूसरा न्यूज़ आइटम published on the same day, that is 9th November 1989. Kashmir Liberation Front opposes Bandh call. Kashmir Liberation Front has vehemently opposed the call for a Kashmir Bandh given by some so-called militant groups as also the state unit of the Communist Party of India, CPI. दूसरा न्यूज़ आइटम published on the same day, that is 9 November 1989. ये है आर्मी आउट इन अनंतनाग. डिटेल्स हैं: The army was called out and an indefinite curfew imposed in the South Kashmir township following the outbreak violence this morning. Several people, including some policemen, were injured when mobs hurled stones on police patrols and vehicles. Shops in Baramulla and Sopore were closed, but reopened soon after the morning papers with the Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front appeal not to observe a बंद. साथियों, इसी के साथ आदाब. दूसरा वीडियो लेके हम आपके सामने हाजिर हो जाएंगे. तब तक शुक्रिया.